Hey guys, welcome to another episode of MIA with Damini. Get a pen, grab a notepad, and happy learning. Hey guys, so we have a new head of state, right? And obviously, with new government comes new set of policies, new set of struggles, actually, and things like that. And in this episode, I'm just going to talk about the things that I would stop doing and would put a pause to these things. I would actually discontinue some of them. And, that's just to, prepare myself and prepare my business for this environment, for, the next steps. And then also to monitor, like, the environment itself, so the business environment, consumer environment, not just business, even the consumers, the people that you sell to, how are they reacting to this new government, So those are the kind of things these are the things that I would stop and then just pay attention to what's happening in the market, basically. So the first thing is, FX, foreign currency. I would stop spending foreign currency in every area or section of my business that I can stop it. I understand that some sections you can't avoid it, but I would stop. So for example, like I remember just before the elections, dollar was about, I think between 680 and 720. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is actually ridiculous. Considering that a year ago I was buying dollar for maybe 400 or something now, right? 2-3 weeks, a month, let me not exaggerate. Like a month after the new government came into power, dollar hits 800 naira. Like, so imagine if you've made, and this is already we're already in July, so imagine if you've already made your year on year analysis, you've already made, you've done like your forecasting, and then this kind of situations come on board, right? Again, this is normal, this is business. It's one of those things that you have zero control over. I remember in the podcast episode, I spoke about the external environment, how you have no power or control over these things. And this is a very good example, right? So I think I spoke about Pestel, and this is a political environment issue. You have no power over the political environment. It's also an economic issue because obviously there's foreign exchange involved. You have no power over the economical environment in this country. And things like that, right? So wherever I can stop spending FX, I'm going to stop it immediately. Apps, for example, those apps and tools that I'm paying for in dollars, maybe I pay $10 for this app, I paid $15 or $12 for my Canva Pro account, things like that. Begin to ask yourself the question: do you need the paid version? Can you downgrade to the free version? Can you downgrade to even a cheaper version if you have to continue using the app? Instead of importing raw materials and spending dollar, can you buy those raw materials locally and be able to maintain standard? These are questions that you need to ask yourself. However, you need to find a way to reduce your dependency on foreign exchange, because with the way things look, it's only going to keep going higher and higher. So that's the first thing. The second thing is kind of leading, the foreign exchange issue kind of now leads into it, where number 2 is you need to stop borrowing and also lending money. Business is a cash flow thing. So the more money you have to do business, the better for you, right? But at the same time, you don't want to borrow money from banks, people, other businesses, and then you don't know what's going to happen in the future in terms of interest rates, in terms of inflation, and then, end up being in debt that you can't even control or you can't even afford to pay back. So stop the borrowing pipeline. Put a pause on it. Stop it at the moment. Monitor the environment. Monitor inflation. Monitor, the policies that the government is going to bring at some point. Hopefully, they benefit us. Monitor those things. Don't borrow. This is not the time to borrow money. And this is also not the time to lend money. And I'm not saying this as a you know, as a situation where you want to question people's morals, like, oh, why are you not lending money? Things are tight. You also need to plan, right? You need to plan. You need to know where you're going to sow your seeds, because the way it is you sow is what you will reap, right? You harvest and all that. So be careful how you borrow and lend money at this particular time. And then what you're currently running, could it be the current products you're selling, right? Instead of instead of buying more products to make more sales, see how you can sell off the ones you have, and stretch the money that comes from that. Again, during this kind of time, this is when actual business owners, actual entrepreneurs will be separated from people that are pretenders, right? Because this is when it gets fun, so to speak. The third thing is you need to stop taking uncalculated risks and start taking calculated risks, right? Data is your friend, it's not your enemy. I say this all the time, and I'll continue to say it. Data is your friend, it's not your enemy, right? Any risk you are taking now needs to be calculated. At some point, certain things come from intuition, certain things come from emotion, certain things come from that gut feeling, like people say. However, you need to also make calculated risks. You need to have data that backs things up. And this is how you grow in your business, right? So data is not your enemy. Make use of the data, let it become your best friend, and then, take better risks. So you need to stop spending FX. You need to reduce your dependency on foreign exchange and foreign currency. You need to stop borrowing money. So you need to start taking risk with the money you have, the FX that you feel is enough. How do I then stretch it? How do I make better business decisions? How do I make this work? How do I make this money or these products that I have or these assets I have? How do I stretch them to work more and, bring more back to my business, that kind of thing. And you do that by, taking calculated risks. So stop taking uncalculated risks, right? And this is this is when it now gets funny in a way, because it seems to be, it could sound funny, it could sound like a joke, but I'm very serious. Where number 4 is you need to stop getting your news and information from gossip and lifestyle magazines and gossip blogs, right? A lot of people go to these platforms. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of people go to these platforms to get information. A lot of people spend time, going on Twitter, going on social media, to certain platforms to get information about something, to get the new, to get the hot scoop on what's happening in the entertainment industry or the social media industry, or what's happening to that influencer or that celebrity. All this is fine and good. However, you need to begin to grow the habit of reading industry reports. You need to grow the habit of reading the business section in newspapers. You need to grow the habit of, even listening to other businessmen, other businesswomen that are very successful. What are they doing during this period? How are they, standing out? How are they, getting their own environment? How are they working in their own environment to make sure that their business doesn't crumble during this period? You need to spend time, digesting that kind of information, and not, gossip or lifestyle information and all of that. Now, if your business is centered around that, don't get me wrong, that's a different ballgame entirely, because you reading up on those gossip blogs, lifestyle blogs, is also some sort of research for your business, right? But if your business doesn't focus in these sectors or something, right, or in these places of information, let me use that word, you need to find where you can educate yourself, enlighten yourself, and grow your knowledge in ways that, would help your business be properly established during this period. A lot of people say, a lot of successful people will tell you that most of their investments came when there was a major crisis, right? So, for example, during the, what's it called now, 2008 crash, economic crash, that's when a lot of people started investing in real estate, because real estate was cheap. There's so many scenarios like that. Even right now, you realize that because of things that are happening, there's like I think, yeah, it's the jackpot culture. A lot of people are selling their assets for ridiculously cheap prices because they just want to jackpot. They just want to leave. So you also need to be sure that you are mentally, physically, emotionally, materially, and spiritually prepared for that as well, right? In this, I don't call it hard times or difficult times, but in this era of change, let's call it that, right? So make sure you are digesting the appropriate information. Number five. Number five is actually something that I hold very, very dear to myself, and it's something that I preach, and I myself must follow. I follow it, but I don't follow it fully. You need to stop having poor diets. You need to stop having poor diets. You need to start eating well. You need to start taking care of your body. You need to start exercising regularly. I think I saw a clip where they said Nigerians are starting to trek instead of taking public transport. And in a way, there's always positive. There should always be positives in things like that, because all of a sudden you are now more fit. You are now exercising regularly. You are pumping more. Your heart rate is your heart is working better. Things like that, because a healthy mind leads to a successful mind, right? A healthy body can work if you don't stop your poor diet, and somebody falls sick, not you, somebody falls sick, they then spend all their time in the hospital. Sometimes they will have to sell some of their business assets to take care of themselves in the hospital. And those are things that you need to always think about. So stop your poor dieting. This is now the time for us to begin to pick good dieting habits, begin to eat more vegetables, begin to eat more fruits and things like that, right? And then the last but not least, and this is the one that is the craziest one for me, is we also need to stop having a me and my business mindset. Funny enough is I had an argument with a friend of mine just yesterday, and we were talking about how a lot of Nigerian brands and personalities do not talk about or promote other brands without being, financially compensated to talk about those brands. And, she was 100% right. She was 100% right. I was just coming from the angle that, oh, boy, it's somebody's source of income, it's somebody's business. They don't need to promote another brand or another person's business for free. However, the fact is we need to stop that me and my business mindset. We need to help each other grow, right? This crisis is not a Damini and Damini's family crisis. Like, when we go to the petrol station, it's not just me that is lining up for fuel. You are also lining up for fuel. Your customers are also lining up for fuel. When we're not having light, I'm not having light, you're not having light, your customers are not having light as well. So it's almost like an all hands on deck approach that we need to begin to embrace, right? We need to embrace that all hands on deck approach where we are able to help each other out during this period and even after this period, right? When you look at other cultures, especially with the Indian and Chinese culture, you notice that they help each other grow. They help each other grow. They kind of, and just, yeah, they help each other grow. And it's not a thing of, oh, I don't have this thing, let me take it to my sister's shop or my brother's shop or my friend's shop, they have it, or let me take you to this person. That's something that we need to begin to grow as a people, so that we then collectively prosper and come out of this whole situation that we are in. So that's the thing. We need to stop that me and my business mindset, me, my family, and my business mindset, because we are all in this together. This current situation touches everybody, right? So those are like the 6 things that I would stop doing at the moment. So just for recap, 6 things that I will stop in Tinubu's Nigeria is, number 1 is I'm going to stop spending FX anyhow. Definitely, I'm going to reevaluate all my FX spending and focus on only my necessities. Number two is I'm going to stop borrowing money and lending money. I need to find out how the current money I have, how can I stretch it? How can I make it work more for me? And how can I make sure that I get more from it? Because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know. We don't know what inflation rate is going to be like. There are forecasts, but we don't know exactly. You don't know what inflation interest rates as well is even going to be like. So this is not the best time to borrow money or lend money out. You also want to hold on to the money you have and find ways to make it work. Number three, stop taking uncalculated risk. Right? I understand I understand I understand why we love the idea of, what's it called? I understand why we love the idea of gut feeling, but we also need to understand that we need to take calculated risks so we can grow, right? Number four, stop reading gossip. Stop reading gossip blogs. Stop reading gossip news, all of that. Focus on things that add value back to your business. So industry reports, government publications, newspaper, business articles in newspapers, business articles in general, business books, stories of successful entrepreneurs, even entrepreneurs that failed. You can't read their books as well. Things that you are what you read, basically. So, read things that add value. Stop poor diet. Stop having a poor diet. Improve your diet. And number six, stop the me and my business mindset, right? Understand that we are all in this together, we're growing together, and things like that. So it's a wrap. That's about it for today. So you'll be hearing from me in another episode, I guess. But don't forget to share this with your friends, your family, people that have businesses, and that will find this type of content useful. So yeah, you'll be hearing from me soon.